The weighted average cost of capital is the cost of capital to be used when calculating the net present value of a firm's project. So think about a firm as a collection of all of its projects. The sum of all of those projects would be the market value of all of its assets. Those assets are financed with a variety of sources of capital, namely equity, debt, and preferred stock. We classify equity as common stock and preferred stock as really its own entity. The idea behind the weighted average cost of capital is to weight these sources of capital and multiply those weights by their costs. To calculate the weights, we collect the market values of the firm's debt, preferred stock, and equity, summing up to the market value of all of the firm's assets, symbolized here with V. The weights are the ratio of each of those market values to the total. For example, let's say a firm has the following market values of its bonds, preferred stock, and equity. We want to know what the weights are on each source of capital. The total of its market values of bonds, preferred stock, and equity is $1 billion. And we just divide each of those market values by the total to get a 30% weight on debt, 10% weight on preferred stock, and 60% weight on equity, which are, again, the common stock. We put all the weights and costs together. The costs are shown here, symbolized with the letter R. Notice that the cost of debt has the 1 minus T component. The T represents the corporate tax rate, which I'll come to later, but for now just accept that as giving us what's called the after-tax cost of debt, RD times 1 minus T. So we multiply all the costs of debt by their appropriate weights, and that gives us the weighted average cost of capital, commonly referred to as WACC. For example, let's say a company has an after-tax cost of debt of 5%, cost of preferred 9%, cost of equity 15%. Given these weights, what's the firm's weighted average cost of capital? And you see I just multiplied the weights by each of the costs, remembering that the cost of debt should be the after-tax cost of debt. And notice that I have to convert the weights into the decimal form because the costs are in percent. But it's safe to leave the cost as a percent because in the end, we do want a percent, giving us the answer of 11.4%